Hi, I'm Andrew, and welcome to episode 19 of the Neon Knitter podcast. So, in this video, I'm going to be sharing a finished object, two whips, an acquisition, and I do have a shop update for my online store where I sell my beadwork. So, sorry, one of my things fell on the floor, so I just picked it up quick. Um, so, I'm going to get started with the finished object. I'm wearing it. Excuse the rattling on the floor. There's a bunch of bags on the floor right now. Um, so this finished object, this is the Renee T by This Bird Knits. And I made it using two different yarns. So the main color, this bluish gray color, is Madeline Tosh Merino Light. And the color is called Big Sky. And that was a collaboration color they did with Shibui Knits several years ago. I wonder if there's a way to get the light from my microphone not shining on my neck. Looks weird. Excuse me. But yeah, this was a collab color with Shibui Knits. It was only available on Madeline Tosh Merino Light and Shibui Knits Silk Cloud. So, yeah. Otherwise, I don't normally knit my t-shirts out of single ply yarn. But anyways, and then the contrast color here on the yoke with this lacy pattern, that is Spin Cycle Dyed in the Wool in the colorway Big Sky, which was a Stephen and Penelope custom color. Yes, I did pair these two yarns together because the colorways both have the same name. And yes, they go really well together. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I stepped a little out of my comfort zone for this one because I don't normally do things that are this lacy. But there weren't that many patterns that only took one skein of the spin cycle yarn. A lot of patterns call for at least two skeins, even if it's just on the yoke, because spin cycle dyed in the wool is only 200 yards. So yeah, and then the Madeline Tosh yarn I only had two skeins of, so I needed to make sure the pattern called for the correct amount of that as well. And as I think I've mentioned before in previous episodes, I'll knit t-shirt patterns that are designed to be cropped. It's just I'll typically extend the body so that it is not cropped. And so that typically takes a little bit more yarn, and so I need to budget into my project extra yarn to make the t-shirt not cropped. So that's another thing when I knit my summer tops that I need to keep in mind. So yeah. So I'm gonna get up here so you can see it on me. There it is. I know this isn't the greatest position, but I'll be inserting the photos of me modeling it. So yeah. The photo shoot was done in St. Augustine, Florida, at a restaurant called Sorbez. Um, about a month ago, I was in uh, Daytona Beach, Florida, and we had a day trip to St. Augustine where I did the photo shoot. I researched the mural ahead of time. No, we did not go in the restaurant, just did the photo, but anyways, that'll be on the screen as well as probably the thumbnail of this video. Okay. So now let's move on to whips. I have two whips to share. And then I have another one I'm going to talk about. Let's start with the one I want to talk about mostly because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, and also because I don't know where I put it at the moment. We're going to talk about my GoGo Dynamo shawl, and why I haven't put up a Clue 4 video yet. So for those of you who do not know, GoGo Dynamo is the West Knits Mystery Knit Along for 2024. So I made a big major mistake in Clue 4, and I need to tear back and fix it. And I just haven't gotten around to it yet because with all the fiber fairs coming up, I need to knit what I would like to wear at them. And so that'll be a project for this summer when I don't have any fiber fairs to get to. And for those of you who are longtime viewers of my channel, you will know that I was unable to attend Yarn Over last year because of my anxiety program I was in. And so, therefore, what I wanted to wear to Yarn Over last year, I didn't. So that means that, and obviously I didn't purchase any yarn there last year because I wasn't there. So that means that what I wanted to wear last year, made out of the yarn I bought the year before, I'm going to wear this year. And so that project's already finished. So that gives me extra time to correct my mistake on Clue 4 of my GoGo Dynamo shawl. Basically what I did is I completely missed that there was a decrease row. And so when I got to the second decrease row, I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to get that small of a stitch count? And I realized, oh, shoot. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll just fudge it and throw in extra decreases. And so I finished that whole section. I didn't do the border on the bottom yet, but I finished that whole section. It will not lie flat. It's very puckered because I put too many decreases in one spot. And normally if I fudge a decrease or an increase, I don't think, where did I make that mistake, and go back and fix it. But in this case, I will be much happier with it if I do. So that's a project for this summer. My only deadline is that I would like to get it done so I can wear it in this year's MCAL intro video. Because I always wear the previous year's one in the intro for my MCAL series. So that is a goal. And if I hadn't made that mistake, yeah, the shawl would probably be done already. I just am a little bit frustrated by my mistake, and so I put that project in timeout, and I have some priorities that need to happen first. So that's update on my GoGo Dynamo shawl, in case you guys were wondering. And so, yeah, hopefully I will get my Clue 4 video out this summer, even though I'm probably like one of the last ones to finish. But yeah, that's how come that's a thing. Alright, now the two whips I actually have here to show you. Excuse me. So, the first one I would like to say is, I'm going to say this now. Mom, if you're watching this video, please turn this off and watch later after I explain to you what's going on, in so many words. So, this first whip is my mom's Mother's Day gift. And yes, my mom does watch my videos. That's why I said that. But I didn't want to leave this whip out. So, this is the Scarf in a Scarf from Hand Painted Knitting Yarns. So, basically what the Scarf in a Scarf is it was a kit that I had. Hand Painted Knitting Yarns has been out of business for years. So Hand Painted Knitting Yarns eventually became Skano Yarn, and then Skano Yarn went out of business, so they don't exist anymore. But it was a kit that came in this box, and this is the lid that comes off. And, whoops, just dropped it on the floor. And there were 4 100-yard skeins of yarn. And the yarn is 60% silk, 40% merino. And I'm trying to figure out what the color's called. I think it's called Don Carlos. I don't know. That's the one that has yellow highlighting on it. So, I don't know. All around the edge of this, it shows the colorways. Or at least says the names of them. But anyways, so the Scarf and a Scarf, you can still download this pattern on Ravelry for free. It's not going to say hand-painted knitting yarns. It's going to say Skano. But yeah, all the Skano's patterns are still available for free on Ravelry. They had some really pretty ones. So yeah. Yeah. So there were 4 100-yard skeins of this. And that's helpful because there's a note at the bottom of the pattern here that's telling you how far you should be into the project when you're done with each skein. All 4 skeins are the same colorway, so yeah. But how the Scarf and a Scarf works is every so many rows, you put a hole in the scarf. And then, once you have 10 holes done, then you bind off. And then it comes with a matching 100% silk scarf dyed in the same colorway. And what you do is you weave it in and out of those holes. Let me just try to demonstrate this for you guys. So it'll be woven in and out of the holes. And then the photo at the bottom of the pattern, I know this is printed in black and white, but this was the copy that came in the pattern. I scanned it to Knit Companion, but anyways, those photos show different ways you can wear it. And yeah, so I got this kit back in December at Stephen B when I was at their holiday party. So basically, the Stephen B holiday party, I won this as I was in a prize drawing. And I won it towards the end of the party because as they were drawing people's names, as people started leaving the store, they didn't like reach out to people who won. They instead just set that ticket aside and kept calling names until they got the name of somebody who was still in the shop, because it's much easier for them to just do that rather than trying to reach out to people who already left. So yeah, so this was something that I won at the holiday party back in December, and I thought it looked like something my mom would enjoy, so that is her Mother's Day gift. So that is my deadline for that one. And then my other whip also has a deadline. This is the project I am knitting to wear at Shepherd's Harvest. Oh, shoot. I didn't realize before I started filming this video, I'm in the middle of a row, so apologies for that. If I'd have noticed, I would have finished my row first, but here I am, I'm filming, so yeah. Let me see here. I pulled my yarn labels out. Where are they? There they are. Okay, perfect. So, if you watched my Shepherd's Harvest video from last year, you will have already seen this yarn, but I am knitting the Blank Slate Tee by Winter's Weather Knits. And again, this would be much easier to hold up and show you if I wasn't mid-row, but the neck is up here. It has kind of a weird construction. You cast on the stitches for the back, and then you do some like increasing as though it were the short rows on the back, and then you cast on for the front, and then you knit the front flat, and then you knit the back flat, then you sew it together and put in the sleeves, and then you do the neckline. I don't understand the construction and why we didn't just either knit the whole thing flat, or why we didn't just like cast on the neckline and then do the short rows and stuff. Because I think it would have been easier to just knit the neckline first. That way we didn't have to like figure out how to pick it up. But that's how it was designed. So yeah, super weird construction, but um yeah, so. And she did just recently come out with a long sleeve version, which is the same pattern. So you just get two PDFs when you purchase it. So it came as an update in my Ravelry library, but I only had yarn for the short sleeve version, and honestly, I think the short sleeve version looks a little better than the long sleeve one. But you know, um, but yeah. So the back is just solid main color, so just red, and not the contrast color. Um, so the yarn I'm using, my main color is Brown Sheep Lamb's Pride Superwash Sport. The color is Shane's Red. Yep, Shane's Red, and they are 180 yards, 50 grams, 165 meters, 100% wool. And I think I bought 7 of these. I think I only wound 4 of them into balls so far, but that was a seriously good deal, though. These skeins, only $4 a piece. Um, so I thought that was a really good deal. So yeah, and so this is how it's turning out, and I'm really happy with it. Oh, the variegated yarn. I forgot to tell you about that one. Um, so it came in a hank. Um, this was from Gnome Schoolhouse. They're in Nome. I think that's North Dakota. It might be South Dakota. I don't remember. But the town's called Nome. Anyways, Gnome Schoolhouse is like an event venue for fiber related events, if that makes sense, like an event center for fiber related events. Um, and their their business is called Shepherd Industries, I think. It doesn't say that on this label at all, but yeah. And also Dakota Fiber Mill is another one of their businesses, so it's kind of all one company. Um, but anyways, this is their Dakota Spun yarn. This is a one-of-a-kind skein. This is a sport weight, 3-ply. It says self-striping. I would call it more of a variegated, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it's 400 yards. It's sport weight, and it's silk and Teeswater wool. So yeah, yeah. And I think I paid $28 for this skein. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turning out, and this is actually going by pretty quickly. Um, so yeah, so I hope it turns out well. My size isn't usually the extra small size, but I usually do the one that has the bust circumference of just over 40 inches. And so I think this pattern is supposed to have positive ease, but I'm knitting the one that's just over 40 inches, which is extra small, which seems a little unusual, but I'm doing it anyways. Maybe I should knit the next size up. I don't know, we'll see, but it's much wider than it looks on camera because, as you guys know, stockinette stitch likes to curl, so when I uncurl it, it's a lot wider. So I'm hoping this works. Anyways, the project was all based off of the Dakota spun skein from Gnome Schoolhouse, and then I got the brown sheep to go with it. Um, After I figured out what pattern I wanted to do with that skein, because every year Shepherd's Harvest has a vendor who sells brown sheep yarn for dirt cheap, and so um, this year, with how much money I have, if I buy any yarn at Shepherd's Harvest, it'll probably be from the people that sell brown sheep. I forget their business name, but I don't know if they have any online presence, so they just sell at events, because it's not like they're selling anything special. Like, you can get brown sheep in a lot of places. Although they do have some discontinued brown sheep yarns. Like, I don't think they... Yeah, I think Lamb's Pride Superwash Sport might be discontinued, actually. So, yeah, but their booth is definitely worth a look. And, yeah, so... Because they've got really good deals on brown sheep and a couple other brands, but mostly brown sheep. So, yeah, so that is my other whip. And I'm going to Shepherd's Harvest the day before Mother's Day, so the deadline for this is literally the day before the deadline for this. So I'm focusing on this because the deadline for the Scarf and a Scarf is a loose deadline, seeing as I live in the same house as my mom, so I should be able to still get it to her. It's a nice, simple project that I can work on, and I don't have to think about it. I just have to push my row counter at the end of a row. Otherwise, it's just garter stitch. And I got to keep track of my row counter so I know when to put in another hole. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty mindless. Um, Now, even though the pattern's available for free online, I don't know if you will be able to make the project quite exactly the same, just because since the company's out of business, you can't buy a kit, which means you don't have the yarn with a matching silk scarf. So you would have to kind of come up with your own solution. But anyways, if you can come up with your own solution, I think it's a great pattern. So just saying that. Now, I'm going to move on to acquisitions. So here's my only acquisition I have. I bought this a few weeks ago. So right now, I currently work at Goodwill. Um, and I mostly work the cashiers there, but sometimes I'll work putting clothing away. Um, and it's a nice store. The one I work at actually has 2 floors, and so the main level is everything except clothing. And then the second floor is all clothing and shoes and accessories such as ties, belts, bags, hats, scarves, and then what we like to call domestics, which is pillows, linens, bedding, placemats, washcloths, dishcloths, random pieces of fabric that were donated, curtains, blankets, etc. Yeah. So it's a nice store. But anyways, so I got something from the craft aisle, which is on the main level. I wouldn't exactly call this yarn, but yellow's my favorite color, so I had to have it. Look, it's got pom-poms on it. Okay? Yeah, it came on a wooden spool. But it's got pom-poms on it. That's really fun. So, I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to make out of it. I'm thinking maybe I'll knit myself a sweater. What yarn? I have no idea. And what color? I have no idea. Might be yellow, might be a different color. Um, and then I just like trim the armholes, the neckline, and like the hem at the bottom with this. And I think it could be a fun little flair to a project, but I don't know. Um, if you guys have any suggestions on what I should make out of this, leave a comment because I have no idea. So, yeah. So that is my acquisition. I only paid a couple bucks, so, and of course I had my employee discount, so yeah. All right. Where is my last thing I was going to show? The last thing I was going to show you guys went missing. Because of course it did. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. So, you guys might be aware because I announced it in my Everything I Knit in 2024 video that I now own an online store where I sell all the beadwork that I do. And this channel is not a beading channel. I don't talk about my beadwork on this channel. But in the interest of making sales on my shop and whatever, at the end of each podcast episode, I will be doing a shop update section of the podcast, just so you guys can see what new things I've made. But if I've made any necklaces or earrings or whatever for myself, well, I don't wear earrings. My ears aren't pierced, but if I've made any necklaces for myself, um, then it's not something I'm necessarily going to show off. Um, so unless I happen to be wearing it, I couldn't figure out what necklace to wear with this, so I'm not wearing one with it right now. But yeah. But anyways, so this is a new item in my shop. I think I have it listed for $15. Um, and then I have it automated to, if you hit the like button on it or like add it to your cart or whatever it was that I had it automated for, I think it goes down to 13. Most of my projects in the shop or my pieces in the shop, I'll only like discount like $1 maybe. But um this one didn't cost me nearly as much to make, so I'm willing to discount it $2 if you save it, hit the like button, add it to your cart, whatever. The like button being that little heart next to the listing. So yeah, so this is the new one in my shop. It's pink, purple, and green. Um, oopsies. Uh, sorry. Clasp came undone. The clasp stays together when you're wearing it, but when you're just like holding it, sometimes it likes to come undone. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I think that that's a really pretty one. And so that is the only new item in my shop since I last told you about my store. So, um, yeah. So, anyways, that's all I have to share with you guys. So, I'm Andrew. Thank you for checking in here at the Neon Knitter, and I will see you in my next video.